It's Pantera right here on your Classic Metal Show with the Cemetery Gates. And just before that, we heard Phil Anselmo with Stone the Crow from his Down project from NOLA, which, of course, is New Orleans, Louisiana.
Wow. That was insightful.
Very insightful. We are a walking encyclopedia of metal.
Boy, and all knowledge, according to this chat room. Jesus.
Yeah, lots of knowledge.
Well, there's all kinds of the definitive discussion on rusty trombone versus dirty trombone.
Sure. Sure.
Wow.
Well, you mentioned to me that you were heading out to the House of Blues in Cleveland to see the Philip Anselmo in slow-mo.
Yeah, really, the last couple of years he's been, but seems like he's back on track these days. I can't wait.
Well,
I'm very pumped.
Well, apparently, we received some criticism.
We did?
From somebody who caught one of our episodes, or maybe a Spreaker or something. I don't know where he heard it. But apparently this guy is a Michael Butler fan.
Of course.
And he called in to bitch.
Oh, that's right.
About the way that we say Phil Anselmo. He bitched about it.
Oh, of course he did.
So let's listen. Oh, once again, this person, whomever this is, of course, he calls in with a unknown or blocked number because he's so brave.
Oh, what are we going to do? Call him and stalk him?
No, but people who want to make issue with us, they always do it anonymously.
Yeah, they usually do.
It was just like the guy who said, "Go ahead and email bomb me. This is my ex-wife's email address."
Sure. Of course, we do have a history. Remember the Rev? Here's my phone number, and we did beat him up with that fucking piece of knowledge.
So this unknown pussy calls in and he bitches to us or complains about us, but of course, he leaves no references to who he is or.
Now, is that fair to call him an unknown pussy?
Yes, it is. Actually, it's very justified.
Okay, well, I just checked.
Anyone who hides and who is anonymous and cloaks themselves when they want to throw out some criticism, pussy.
I agree with that.
If you got something to say it, but don't hide and be anonymous.
Sure.
Anybody can do that.
Yep.
So we're going to give you your airtime, unknown pussy.
Good name for a band.
Unknown pussy. All right. So here we are being bitched out for not saying Phil's last name correctly.
Okay.
Hey, Neeley. How can you pronounce it Phil Anselmo so many fucking times considering the way it's fucking spelled? Clear your nostrils out. Take the whatever medication you need to clear your fucking head and pronounce it correctly, because you are a fucking moron, man. And your show is at its absolute worst when you guys try to do anything on the internet. It's nothing like dead radio. Listen, do I click over here? Do I press this here? Do I put a star here? And you guys make fun of the Rock and Roll Geek Show? Jesus Christ, you guys are fucking morons.
Pretty good.
Yep. So there you go.
And yes, we do make fun of the Rock and Roll Geek Show because Michael Butler is a fucking douche.
Right. Phil Anselmo, Phil whatever.
Anselmo.
Yeah, so what? So what? Everybody knows what you're saying. Who cares?
I'm looking forward to seeing Mr. Anselmo this Tuesday.
Sure.
And I'll say his name right. Even if you can't.
Oh, okay.
You fuck it. Oh, wait a minute. You know who I am. I can't call you anything.
Right. Wait a minute. Let me take my medication real quick.
If I was an anonymous dick, then I could fucking say it.
Sorry.
I'm going to call him from a fake phone number. Is that okay? And just call you an asshole?
Right. Duck and cover, my friends. Duck and cover.
Nathan from Kentucky. Wow, he depantsed you guys.
Man.
Well, in fairness, he depantsed you.
Yeah.
He didn't call me anything.
Yeah. Well, he said your fucking show when you guys try to do anything on the internet.
Yeah. Talus in the chat room. That guy has his priorities straight. Glad he exists.
Yep. Sure.
Too funny.
Because that's important.
Yep.
Wow. All right. Well, our most favorite new show that we discovered within the last year since Chris's return, Natalie's World.
Natalie's World.
Actually had the opportunity to interview Phil Anselmo.
Wow, you got it.
Anselmo.
Right.
Not Anselmo. It's Anselmo.
Right.
Because we want to put more emphasis on the E.
Yeah.
Because that's important.
Anselmo.
Not Insamo.
Oh.
So, regardless. Guess it depends on what part of the country you're in, whether your dialect says EL or AL.
Yeah.
Because I know people in this part of the country, they use the word, they call MILK. They pronounce it milk.
Milk?
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
What's wrong with your part of the world?
Well, and then in your part of the world,
yeah, it's milk.
Well, no, I heard people refer to a pillow.
Yeah,
give me a pillow as a pillow.
Who says that?
In Cleveland,
they call it a pillow.
That's how they pronounce it. That's how it comes out sounding.
Mm.
So it's Phil Anselmo.
Yes.
Yeah. So, it's just depends on your dialect.
Usually I call him Phil from Pantera.
Right. But if you go over to the western Pennsylvania area, people don't even pronounce things correctly over there at all. They say, like if they're going downtown,
yeah,
they say downtown.
Downtown.
Going downtown.
Downtown Pittsburgh.
So why don't you get the phone book for Pittsburgh and start calling every number in that book and said, it's downtown, you assholes. It's not downtown.
Yeah, I'm the anonymous caller telling you how to say downtown.
Right.
Dick.
What a cock. All right. Well, anyway, Natalie's World. Somehow, some way, she got a hold of Phil.
Phil from Pantera.
Phil from Pantera, formerly of Pantera.
Awesome.
Currently of Phil H. Ensemble.
Yeah.
Down, Superjoint Ritual. What else? What other his bands are?
Arson Anthem. He shows up sometimes in War Beast. He's in a million projects. Necrophagia, Christ Inversion. Phil's been in a ton.
Sure he has. Well, Natalie got a hold of him.
This has got to be the definitive interview of Phil.
And you will be seeing him and interviewing him this week.
So I need to take notes on how to do it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And by the way,
yes,
I don't think we talked about this on a previous show, but apparently Natalie has no problem with us.
Doesn't seem to.
She was actually kind of flattered that we covered a couple of her interviews, that being with the Hatriot.
Yeah.
As well as the Snake.
Yeah, she promoted them.
She promoted them on her website. She said, we critique her interviews in our own way.
Yeah, well, you know what? Hey, more publicity, right?
So I'm thinking, should we reach out to Natalie and say, hey, you want to come on the show?
I definitely think we should.
Because I think she can hang.
I think Natalie could come on.
So that's my next project, to see if we can snag Natalie for a show.
I'll reach out to her.
Sure. But she apparently has not been offended at what we've done so far.
Well, let's see if we can change that.
All right. Well, here she is speaking with Phil.
Okay.
Formerly of Pantera.
Right.
guys, I'm watching the YouTube, and I know people at home can't see this.
Uh-huh.
This is Natalie's 666th interview.
Wow. That's something.
666th.
The number of the beast.
Right.
Wow.
And she's bringing the beast on.
That's something.
My name is Natalie Prez, and I have the honor of speaking with a legend in the heavy metal scene community, Mr. Phil Anselmo, who has been best known for his work in Down, Superjoint Ritual, and of course Pantera, on July 8th, 2013. Do you consider yourself a legend in metal, or just a typical everyday guy?
All right.
Okay.
Well, I think I'm a legend.
Even people with legendary status
Will never answer.
will
I'm
never say, "Yeah, I'm a legend."
And they'll just say, look, we could do this answer blind. No, I'm just a metalhead, just like everybody else. I just love the metal, and I try to make as much music. I got a lot of music in me.
Right.
And I like to just make the music. But no, I'm no legend.
Right.
There's my guess. What's your guess?
Even Lemmy or a Tony Iommi or somebody, Rob Halford, would never say, "Yeah, I'm a legend in metal."
None of them would.
Next question.
Yeah.
I'll roll with the typical everyday guy any fucking day over, I don't know, legendary status or rock star or anything, man. Honestly, I'm just a fucking music nerd like anybody else out in the audience. I love music. I love extreme heavy metal, but extreme music of all sorts. I'm just a big music fan, and that's just my opinion,
That's almost exactly what I said.
That's his opinion.
That's almost exactly what I said.
Okay. Just like everybody else.
Yeah. Would have been great if he just said, "Yeah, I'm as big a legend as you're ever going to interview."
Right. Next.
Yeah, next.
You chose to call your solo project Philip H. Anselmo and the Illegals. How come?
because those group of guys make so much fun of me. It's like, you know what? I'll get them back, and I'll call them the Illegals on this one record. And that's just like an inside joke between all of us, because on the next record I might call them the Buttercups or the Butterflies or I don't know, the Dandelions. It's just a one record thing, but I call it my name because, you know, honestly, this is my music written from the ground up. And if I was going to call it by some other band name, I've been in so many fucking bands. It just honestly, it would be like, yeah, just another band for people to buy into. But if they just see my name, then they know it's my product. So, you know, I guess it's easier to sink the brain into, or at least the idea into, no matter what. But each solo record is going to be very, very different from the last one. So take this one for what it's worth.
So by calling his quote unquote band the Illegals, he was getting them back for picking on him.
That's what he said.
Okay. Man, Phil, you got us good.
Yeah. Maybe they're all Mexicans. I don't know.
I was actually going to say the exact same thing.
I mean, I honestly don't know anything about those guys, so.
I was going to get them back, so I call them the Illegals.
Yeah, instead of the Buttercups.
Right. Oof. Well, you sure got us, Phil.
Yeah, got them.
God damn it. We didn't see that one coming.
Nope.
Snuck one in on us.
Why did you want to start your own record label, and was it a difficult thing to do? What is your goal with having this label?
My goal is to not sell any music. I'm looking to start movies. And that's why I started a record label. What do you think his goal was? His goal is to sell records.
Right. Why give the money to somebody else?
Yeah.
Well, it's taken on different lives and different shapes and different forms, and really, I wanted it to be an outlet for music that I like, music that I think is different or acceptable or enjoyable, and I'm very prudent to bands that I sign and stuff like that. So I haven't signed a band in a very long time. So it's like I have my eyeball on 4 or 5 different bands that I think are definitely hitting the different notes in music. You know, I'm a musician first, and you know I like to believe that not all the notes have been hit yet, not all the time signatures have been met yet, and not all the incorporation of instruments have been even used yet. So I have this devotion to music that is on air. You know, I'm a firm believer in the growth of music in all sorts of directions, but especially in the
You hear all that noise going on?
Yeah.
What do you think that is?
I don't know. Maybe he's, I don't know. I have no idea what he's doing.
I don't think it's him. I think it's her.
Oh, you think it's her?
Yeah, I hear all kinds of noise. Like it's just like.
She's eating.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
Listen real close.
I guess the extreme metal part of it, because there's a lot of tradition that keeps being repeated over and over and over, whereas, I think that there's room for bands that are absolutely trying to change the game. So, I would love to be part of that facilitation if possible. So, we'll see what happens.
Do you hear that?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Do you think she records this on a tape recorder, like a cassette tape?
Could be.
Because it almost sounds like a consistent noise from like the tape recorder.
Like the tape playing?
Yeah, like it's warped or something. And
Heads are pulling or something?
Yeah, it says like. You know
It's
what I mean?
funny. Could be.
I bet you she does these interviews with one of those little sucker cup things on the back of the phone.
Could be.
And then it's plugged into like the mic port on a tape recorder.
Sure. I do have to say this, though. So far, and we're, 3 or 4 questions in?
Yeah, we're 5 minutes into this interview and 2 questions in.
And she has not asked any stupid ones.
Not yet, but
Nope.
she's only asked 2 questions.
That's true. Well, I mean, I'm not saying that she won't. I'm just saying she's doing better.
Okay.
You've been a part of the Metal Masters Clinic for a few years now. Do you plan on coming back for this year?
I would think so, yes, as long as my brothers are there from Anthrax and Slayer and all those guys. I'm very proud to stand next to those guys, and they're some of the most dynamite people in the world. And then, of course, the guys who run the whole shebang are dynamite dudes, and everybody, we get along like one big, giant, crazy family reunion. So I love doing them, so I would expect to be there.
Your upcoming album, Walk Through Exits Only, why did you think that right now would be the time to, fly solo and do this? Why did it take you so long to reach this point?
Well, so far she's asked 4 questions.
Uh-huh.
And they were very, very specific to him. They weren't some generic question.
Sure.
So for this interview, I would say Natalie probably did her homework.
I think she prepared, yeah.
So
I think she realized she had a big one.
Right. So she did her homework on this.
Of course.
Okay.
Well, you got to look at circumstance. And I have this void in time where it's for me, it's perfect. And, why not is the answer, really. I answer a question with a question, but, why not? I'm 45 fucking years old. I ain't getting any younger. May as well do it now.
Can you tell me if anything new is happening with your other band, Arson Anthem?
She had to sound that out.
She had no idea what that band is about at all.
So do you think that she wrote her own questions, or do you think somebody gave her some questions?
She might have reached out to some people. I mean, it's clear she doesn't know who Arson Anthem is.
Right.
But, I don't know. I mean, you could look at his wiki page. I'm sure it's listed there.
Sure. But it's just the way that she pronounced it. Could you tell me what's going on with your other band, Arson Anthem?
It's clear she's never heard a note of that band.
Right.
Arson? No, there's probably not anything new going to happen with Arson, but it was fun to do while it lasted, and once again, you have to look at circumstance. The singer for Arson Anthem is also the singer for I Hate God, and I know that they have a tour coming up that's going to last them about 5 weeks in Europe, and we also have just got through tracking their new album over here at the studio. So hopefully there's a great chance that I get to mix that record and be a part of that record. So, Arson, like I said, it's one of many side projects that I've done in the past. But as for right now, there's nothing on the table.
All right, thank you.
Nathan from Kentucky. Phil would skull fuck the hell out of Natalie, then make her give him all the money in her Hello Kitty purse.
Jeez.
Wow. And there's probably a lot of truth to that. Unfortunately. Allegedly. There's a lot of truth to that.
Damn.
You have, of course, been in a number of different bands, both currently active and both have, gone under. Would you ever consider bringing all of those bands together for one mega show?
Ouch.
That would be a mega show, all right.
That would be a mega show.
Let's see. Let's look at his bands. Let's see how mega show that would be. Let's see.
Obviously, Pantera.
Well, you've got Pantera.
Down.
Super
Joint Ritual.
Arson Anthem. Christ Inversion. Southern Isolation. Viking Crown. Ibon. Where's the other ones? There's more than that. There's way more than that. Defunct. There's way more than that. He's done he has 30 bands he's been in. I'm just looking real quick trying to find it, and it's not coming. Necrophagia. Where's the list of all his damn bands? There's no list of all his bands out here. Shit. That's unfortunate because that guy's been in 30 bands.
Right. Even if they were just one-offs.
Right. I know he did a couple records with Anal Cunt because the guy from Anal Cunt did vocals on the Great Southern Trendkill album. So there's that band. I don't know. He's been in a shit ton of bands.
Well, he'd definitely have a sore throat if that were to ever happen.
Yeah, he definitely would.
An interesting thing. It's an interesting concept, and you know what? I think it's been discussed before. Maybe in the back of my mind, in some little hidden place of dreams, something like that could happen. But there's a lot of music that I've been sitting on now for over 20 years that the general public has never
Wow, look at the question Natalie asked that actually caused Phil to sit there and think.
You want to hear the list of projects he's either been in or performed with?
Or contributed to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
Go ahead.
30 of them.
All right.
Alice in Chains, Amicus, Anal Cunt, Anthrax, Arson Anthem, Biohazard, Body and Blood, Christ Inversion, Crowbar, Down, Ibon, Enoch, Iomi, Jarbo, Necrophagia, Pantera, Phil Anselmo and the Illegals, Razor White, Sepultura, Soylent Green, Southern Isolation, Superjoint Ritual, Tapeworm, The Disembodied, The Manson Family, The Swinging Anselmos, Typo Negative, Viking Crown, Vision of Disorder, and Timeline Table.
Did you say the Swinging Anselmos?
Swinging Anselmos.
Nice. Wow.
Good for Phil.
Sure.
And I know that's not a complete list either, because I know for a fact he's done some stuff on the I Hate God stuff.
Right.
And that's not in that list either.
Phil's a busy guy.
Phil does a lot of projects, for sure.
He's a music nerd.
Yep. Good for him. You know what? He's found his niche. And you know what? He is a rare one for a guy that is that popular. And let's face it, he's one of the most popular guys in metal. You know, to be out there doing this many things, that's really rare, man.
Sure.
No time off since he's been known. I mean, not to be able to do that many projects. That's a shitload of them, man.
What would be funny is that when you speak with him on, what day is it?
Tuesday. Yeah.
Ask him, you should ask him, would you have skull-fucked Natalie and taken money out of her Hello Kitty purse?
I don't think I'll ask that question.
And he'd go, who the fuck was Natalie?
Natalie who? He might go, oh, yeah, that retarded girl I talked to.
How does it feel to have had Pantera's record, Vulgar Display of Power, be around for over 20 years? Do you think it still has a powerful impact as it did when it first came out?
How does it feel to have that record?
It's great.
How does it feel?
Feels great, Natalie.
That's a new one. I don't think we've heard that one before. How does it feel to have that record?
How does it feel to have that record?
Well, I don't know about that. I'm not real sure about that, but I know that for sure Pantera has some of the greatest, if not the greatest, heavy metal fans in the world. I cannot say enough about how awesome Pantera fans have been and how loyal they've been over the years. So, Vulgar Display of Power is it's in the books as one of, I guess, one of the more influential records of its time. And, honestly, for me, it's really just an honor to have been part of such a movement, especially in the late 80s, early 90s, So, whether it's absolute classic or whatnot, I'll let the critics fucking, decide that for themselves. The fans decide that for themselves. But overall, I gotta say, it's once again just Pantera has the best fucking fans in the world, and that to me is what keeps us alive. Is our fans and the memory of those songs. So more power to the people.
If
I'll answer for Phil. Certainly, that is an iconic record.
Right.
Vulgar Display of Power. Jesus Christ, almost anybody that listens to metal puts that in their top 5.
Just the cover alone is iconic.
Oh, I know. That's fantastic.
Just that fan taking a punch to the face. How many times did that guy take a punch to the face? Was it like 4?
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 before they got the right shot.
Right. And he did it for nothing.
Yeah, just to be on it.
He just took a big punch to the face. I like the title, Vulgar Display of Power.
Dude, it was so appropriate at the time, man. I just remember when it came out, it was like, yeah, that's what Pantera is.
Right.
It was perfect.
A vulgar display of power.
Yep.
It just it's just a punch to the face. That's like the ultimate.
It is. It's funny.
Pantera ever did come back together for one night, where would you want the show to be? What songs would you want to play? And just what would you want to do overall?
Well, again, I'm going to have to give Natalie props.
Yeah, that's a good question.
She did her homework for this interview.
That's a good question.
She didn't say, who are you and what do you do and what's the name of your band and why did you call it that? And, she actually has questions that are specifically geared for Phil.
Yeah, and I mean, in fairness, certainly Pantera's a little bit bigger name than the Hatriot.
Well, regardless, though, but yeah, she still did her homework for this.
I mean, and Phil is tired as shit of answering Pantera questions, but that's a pretty good Pantera question without asking straight up about the stupid reunion that he's just going to say is never going to happen.
Right.
Well, see, that's a complex question because, first of all, Dimebag is not alive anymore, and that factors in a gigantic thing, and in a gigantic way, I should say, and really, there would have to be a lot of sitting down and going over a lot of very important elements between myself and the other members of Pantera, choosing a guitar player and whatnot. But if this is, which it is, a completely hypothetical situation, really, I guess a knee-jerk reaction or answer to that question would be, why not where it all started? Why not play where everything began, really, which is Dallas, Texas. I don't see why any other city would make much sense, but still, once again, that's not fair to the East Coast or the West Coast. It is that the Pantera fans are everywhere, so that's a tough question for me to answer. But I guess hypothetically, I'd say Dallas, Texas.
How many more demos or unreleased songs from Pantera are there, and do they plan to be released or no?
No, Natalie, they've been sitting in a drawer. They're not planning anything.
They're just sitting there, never to be released again.
Natalie, they're inanimate objects. They don't plan.
Honestly, Pantera was not a band to waste a lot of time with demoing, and we don't have that much lagniappe, so to speak. So as far as demos and stuff go, like actual Pantera demos, I'm not sure if there are any that actually exist, unless I'm proven totally wrong and my mind is completely blank, which I don't think it is. I don't think that we have any more demos, so to speak, like unheard demos or unknown songs. Shit, man.
Did he forget?
Well, shit, man.
Did he forget what he was saying?
He was just sitting there thinking, damn it, did we do some more than just, man?
I was trying to remember. All right, well, on this album, we did this song, and That didn't make it.
I guess re-releases of our records, of our older records, in 20-year intervals. In my opinion, this next one will be pretty pure and straight to the point. As far as any lagniappe goes, right now I'm pretty unaware of it. So, it's something we'll see. But once again, I don't think that there's any demos left. But in the same sense, there are stuff that I have. There are recordings that I have that just Dimebag and myself have done in the past that actually I think would surprise other people because they have never heard them before. And whether I ever let go of that stuff, that's I would have to give that a lot of consideration. I would have to probably take the right avenues to do such a thing. But
In other words, somebody better owe me a shitload of money before I let that go out.
Yeah, or Vince, you better talk to me if you want to put these out.
Right. Somebody better pony up some cash.
Yeah, and it better not be in the five figures. It better be 6 or 7.
Right. That's more or less what he's saying.
Yes.
We used to demo things together a lot just for the kick of stuff, and it wasn't under the moniker Pantera. It was just really me and Dimebag, or Dimebag and a bunch of his friends and a bunch of my friends coming together and as one and just doing music for the sake of doing music. So I've got quite a library of that type stuff, but whether or not it's going to be released, your guess is as good as mine.
You're, of course, known for Pantera, but do you personally ever get tired of, being asked, well, what's up with Pantera, blah, 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 Pantera? Do you ever get tired, like, dude, just shut up and leave me alone. I don't want to talk about Pantera right now.
Well, he didn't answer you that way, Natalie. You've asked a couple Pantera-related questions, and he didn't jump down your throat, so what do you think?
It would be so great if he said, you know what, I'm tired of every fucking one of you guys asking me Pantera questions.
Nice.
Especially you.
But she's asked a couple Pantera-related questions, and he didn't say, I'm tired, so she kind of answered her own question in a way.
Yep.
Not really, no, because, if that's the question that people have, then it's a legit question, and I'm not the type of guy to shrug off anything, I'm wide open like a friggin' book, and I have nothing to hide or anything to be ashamed of or overly secretive about or anything like that, so when it comes to Pantera, I'm a wide open book, and I respect the friggin' question, and I'll give my best answer. So, once again, if it's a Pantera fan or if it's anybody that does just really wants to dwell on Pantera, I said, it's in my opinion, once again, very, very valid, so I'll do my best to answer correctly and try and add a little bit of insight as well, because it's that it makes things special for the person asking, to give them a little background to the story and stuff like that, because I love meeting people and I love talking music, and if it's Pantera they want to talk about, so be it.
Wow. Well, I got to respect Phil for that.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not running away from my past. This is what made me who I am, and if fans want to talk about it, I'll be glad to talk about it.
I'm all in. Phil's a good dude. I mean, I've told you, I know Phil fairly well, and he's a good dude, man. He gets fucking beaten by the fucking internet people, but he's an all right guy, man.
Well, I got to respect him for that, for just saying, hey, dude, if you want to talk about this, I'll talk about it. I'm not tired of it. It's part of my life. It's my legacy. It's who I am. And what do you want to know?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, though, he is scary sometimes to be interviewing face to face because he just gets a look on his face like he's ready to fucking punch you in the mouth. When you do ask him something that's hard. And I've done that a few times with him, and luckily, I know him enough to where I can get away with it. But oof, I have definitely had more than one moment where I actually thought I was going to get smacked.
Right.
When it comes to playing, the good old songs, does it ever strike a chord with you and really hit you emotionally that you just can't do it?
The what songs?
I like that question. I actually like what she's asking is, now when you play these songs, do some of these songs fucking hit you emotionally because Dimebag died?
Well, I got that part, but did she call them the good old songs?
The good old songs.
Is that what she said?
Well, yeah, he's a good old boy.
Okay, I was just wondering if that's what she said.
I got to say, I like that question a lot.
Sure.
Oh, no, not at all. You asked about the Metal Masters earlier, and we definitely do some old Pantera songs, and really, all that does for me is it makes me remember the old days, and that's something that's very enjoyable. Pantera is not the first band to have a tragic circumstance. We're not the first band to break up, and we're not the first band to go through problems or anything like that. So to me, a lot of my memory is great memories of Pantera. I really enjoyed playing live and doing the shows because our audiences are so fucking incredible. And the power coming off of the stage was so fucking wonderful. It just, it's tough to beat, man. I just, to me, it just brings back great memories.
Does your other band, Down, have anything new in the works, or not right now?
All right.
That's a fair question. It's already been answered a billion times, but fair question, I guess.
Well, we just wrapped up our touring for the Purple EP, and we began, actually we already have a lot of ammunition for the next EP in the works, and I think we start heads down work on that sucker in November. So I'm looking forward to that. And really, I think in November we can knock it out. And I think it's not too far-fetched to think that the next EP would be coming out within the first 3 months of 2014.
You have, of course, been around the music scene for a long time, but is there...
What comes to mind?
What's that like?
What comes to mind?
anything that you will not do?
Gosh, well, I tell you what, I would be a terrible real actor. I get, if I had to sit there and learn actual lines and shit like that, I would hate that. That would be awful. And I am a big movie buff, but I'm the type of guy that has no aspiration to direct films or anything like that. I just like watching the fuckers. I tell you the truth. And
what do you think Natalie thought of that?
She probably doesn't know. She's probably already looking at her next question.
I just like watching the fuckers.
That's funny.
Nice.
I don't know what I would not do. It's like I couldn't try out for the NFL. I couldn't start a boxing career tomorrow. I couldn't do, things that I actually like, like boxing and football. There's no fucking way I could coach or anything like that, so, I don't know. That's a complex question, I don't think I'd be any good at hip-hop music
you imagine
And
if Phil
also
did a rap
check out
album?
Face Down Media Source. It's the #1 source for all your needs, no matter what they may be.
Really?
What is?
Face Down Media.
Face Down Media.
I guess that's what she calls her, whatever, her entity.
Oh,
Face Down Media. It's the source for anything you might need.
maybe it's because she sounds like she's face down in a pile of dirt when she speaks.
Anything.
Wow.
I want a sandwich, Natalie. Can you get me that?
Call Face Down Media.
Natalie, I need a new car. Can you get me that?
Call Face Down Media. Call Face Down Media.
Nice. Face down, ass up.
Face down, ass up. That's my media company.
What do you like in a pussy, Phil?
Face Down Media, no.
What kind of a girl turns you on, Phil?
Are these questions people want me to ask on Tuesday?
These are questions in the chat room.
I won't be asking any of these.
Demon, is that like a paper bag on the head media? Butterface media?
Jesus.
Well, let me ask you something, just your opinion.
Oh, right.
And nothing, not a pat on the back.
Okay.
But obviously Natalie is aware of the Classic Metal Show.
She definitely is.
And what we've done with her, a couple of her interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that after listening to that, she has attempted to improve her interviewing skills?
Because of us?
Yes, because of us.
General.
Just guessing.
I'm going to guess that she was surprised that somebody called her out.
I do too.
And you know what? I'll bet she's probably one of those like, fuck those guys. I'll show them. I'll do better.
That's my point.
Could be. I like the Jack Antonio guy. Same story.
Yep. It's like, wow, I was really shocked that you guys picked that up. And when I listened to it, I was horrified.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah. And, he did a solid interview with Jeff Tate himself.
Sure.
I listened to that. It was really good. And, Natalie here, she had a couple questions that I was like, damn, wish I'd have asked those.
She did not ask one generic question.
Nope.
Not one.
She was pointed and locked in. Good for her.
And she was very direct and stayed on the subject.
Sure.
She did not ask anything generic.
No, I think she did a good interview there.
Every interview question for Phil Anselmo was specifically geared for Phil.
Yeah. I think she did a good job.
I do too. So I will give Natalie props.
Yeah, me too.
So Natalie, if you're listening to this on the Spreaker,
yeah,
I will give you props for this interview.
Nice job. I learned something.
Very good. All right. Well, you'll be seeing Phil on Tuesday.
Yep, that's Phil Anselmo.
Right. And pronounce his name right, will you?
It's Anselmo. I know how to say it. Anselmo.
Right. And get a cool ID for us too.
I definitely will be getting an ID.
Yeah, get us a cool ID.
Yeah, because the one we have is kind of hacked together.
Well, I mean, it doesn't sound horrible, but
I'll definitely get a real ID.
Sure. All right, man. Well, what's coming up next week? Do you know, or is there anything going on? Just Phil?
Just Phil right now. Couple of things we're working on. We're working on Jack Frost. We're working on
Jack Frost.
Hey, buddy. Working on getting Jack back on the show.
Jack's back.
We're working on Havoc, getting Dirty Sanchez back on the show.
Dirty Sanchez.
Remember him, David Sanchez?
Yes.
We're the ones that call him Dirty.
Right.
Got a couple things in the works. Not sure which ones are going to come out. Like you said, we've got David Ellefson coming in a couple of weeks.
Trying to lock down Chuck Negron.
Chuck Negron is in the works.
Tracy Guns.
Tracy Guns is in the works. David Mustaine is in the works.
Really, Dave Mustaine?
Yeah. I've been working. Believe it or not, I have been reaching out, trying to get a lot of things worked out. The Cult is in the works.
Yeah, I'd like to have a key member of the Cult on.
I'm going to get the tambourine player.
It's got to be Billy Duffy or Ian Asbury.
Or what, you won't do it?
No, it's not that I won't do it. It's just that I don't count it as legit.
All right.
I just don't want somebody who was in it for 10 minutes because they've had a revolving door of members over their 30 years.
Look, if it gets you tickets, then I count it as legit.
Nice.
That makes it legit to me. I don't give a fuck who it is. I don't care if it's a tour manager.
Sure.
Just get you your tickets.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's what's going on. I'm not sure exactly who other than Phil, but I'm definitely going to record something up with Phil on Tuesday, and we will play it next week.
Thank goodness for the iPhone.
Dude, how great is that I'll just have it in my pocket and just, boop, here it is. We're rocking.
You could almost upload that to the Spreaker immediately.
Well, I could, but, I want to use it for the show.
Sure.
And it won't be edited, and I'll have the ID and everything in it. So.
Right.
But, we will, we'll have Phil, and, I'm gonna see if while I'm backstage sneaking around there, if I can't grab those illegal guys, or the buttercups, or whatever they're called that day.
The butterflies.
Yeah, and see if I can't get with those guys as well.
You should walk up to him and say, man, Phil really got you with that illegals, man.
Yeah, and they'll be like, what?
It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, who are you?
Who are you, fuckwad?
Who the fuck are you, shitwad?
Nice. Now, tell me, when you watch Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, can you watch that part where he goes, where the fuck are you, shitwad, without thinking about that?
I think about it all the time. Dude, it's just like when I was watching Full Metal Jacket today, and all those clips were from that.
I will skull fuck you. Hell, you can come over and fuck my sister.
Yeah, the thing about the reach around.
Right.
All that we used to play on the show, man.
Sure. You used to play on the show before you dumped everything.
I know. I got to get my clips back. I actually have them open on my screen, and I never use them.
Really?
Yeah, dude, I have right here.
Do you have who?
You fucking moron.
Where he goes, where the fuck are you, shitwad, without thinking about that?
I think about it all the time. Dude, it's just like when I was watching Full Metal Jacket today, and all those clips were from... Stop. See, this is my problem. It's on this fucking Mac.
Oh.
And the Mac just plays everything fucking... you play one clip, and then it goes to the next.
There you go.
So I got to figure out how to make it not do that. Fucking Mac. Mac is shit. Any of you guys that are Mac people, fuck off. I have a Mac. It's garbage. All it does is broadcast well.
Do you have Disappointed?
No. I have. I don't have really any of the old ones. Not many of them. I have the only old one that I have that I know you remember. The only two are "You Suck, You Jackass," and "You Are One Pathetic Loser."
Right. But I like Disappointed.
I know. I want to get those back. Well, Wheezy sent me a bunch, and I never downloaded them. I got to get them downloaded. He sent me a bunch of the old ones.
Where has he been? I haven't had a thing from him in like close to 2 months.
Well, he's a fake producer. He got called out. He probably quit.
Wheezy, where are you? We miss you, man.
Yeah, everybody's leaving us.
Actually, I'm going to send him a note to see if he wants to hook up with me at the Doc and Sebastian Bach Rat Lita Ford thing.
Well, maybe you can get all drunk and act like an asshole. I'm sorry, that's my friends.
Thought I'd invite him up and hook him up with that.
Sure, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Got to pay him back for years and years of service.
Hell yeah.
Get him into that show, get him backstage, let him hang with me, and whomever.
Wouldn't that make you nuts if he did a John and just fucking acted like a total dick?
You know what? I don't think he's like that.
No, I didn't think John was like that. I had no idea.
Sure.
Anyway.
All right. Well, let's get out of here.
Yeah, it's time.
It's been a good show.
Yeah, it has been fun.
Aside from a little technical difficulty early on, it all straighten itself
that's all
out.
you guys do on that show is fucking talk about the problems.
Look at Jackal one. Look at Jackal's hanging out late. Thayer replaces Wheezy.
Oh, why not? Thayer has already shown some technical aptitude.
Right.
What webmaster?
Sure.
He could handle it. He could take my job.
All right. Well, since Nathan from Kentucky asked for this early and you suggested it, let's close out the show with some Buck Cherry from 15 with "I'm Sorry."
All right. Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, let's get out of here. It's been a good show. I want to thank Eddie from Mad Margaret. Go over to madmargaret.com. That's MARGRITT.com.
Right.
Go pick up their latest release called Show No Mercy.
Yep.
And we're going to get out of here. We're going to leave you with some Buck Cherry from their 15 release, which actually was probably one of their better releases.
It's their best.
And we're going to leave you with Sorry.
Cool.
We're out of here. We'll see you next week.
Bye, kiddies.